Are you seeking a better way to accelerate your sales, to scale your business, to live a life with no limits? Accelerate Sales Podcast features global experts who have cracked the code to recurring revenues with proven sales systems and get you on the fast track to scaling. Now let's accelerate your sales with today's episode.
Hello to the Accelerate Sales Solo podcast, episode number 378. Today's topic is mining your network to scale your business. You will learn three key things. One is why mine your network in the first place. The second is how to do it. And the third is some examples and some success stories. Try to say that quickly. If it's your first time, welcome. And if you love what you hear, please subscribe. If you're a regular, thanks for your support. Really appreciate every review I get, no matter what platform you're on. Please check out past shows on your favorite platform. Just search Accelerate Sales and don't forget those interview shows as well. But before we get into the three, I'd like to talk to you about our free Slack community for cloud consultants. It is a safe place where questions are asked and answered by like-minded peers. We have cloud consultants across multiple platforms, including Salesforce, HubSpot, ClickUp, Zoho, Google, Microsoft, just to name a few. If you want to learn from your peers to scale your business faster, this may be just right for you. Go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/CCC. So that's CCC 3 times to join for free. So why mine your network in the first place? Well, since 1994, I've looked to expand my professional network. Back then, it was the old Rolodex. And what I did was collected business cards, and I always wrote on the back of the card how I met them, their personal information, so if I knew their wife, their children, whatever it may be, and also the value that I've added to them. So I always put that at the back. And my network has evolved over my 28 years in business, and so too is the technology, which I'm glad for. It used to always be a pain to carry those Rolodexes everywhere. But the principles stay the same. People like to do business with people they like, know, and trust. I have 2,891 people in my network at the time of recording this podcast. I've spoken to all of them at some point in time and added value to many of them, if not all. And some of these are in my LinkedIn connection base, right? I've got 16,000 connections. I wouldn't call that my network. That's just people that follow me. But the 2,891 are really close. And we've all heard the 6 degrees of separation. I won't bore you with that. But your network may not need your help right now, right? So, how often do we sell to people? But they may know people who do need your help right now. I like to think I'm a giver and add value at every occasion, as I said before. And be it through this podcast, which I do for free, my YouTube channel, my book, which is called Build, Live, Give, and my weekly posts 3 times a week, and my emails, I really like to give value. But let me know if you're listening and I've added value to you. I'd love to hear, because so often you don't get the joy of knowing that the value you've given someone, you've gone and acted upon it. So I just email if you've done that. People remember you and will always be willing to help, right? You know if someone's helped you in the past, they reach out to you, you're going to help them, right? It's just the way that we are as humans. And I've changed my ideal client to cloud consultants, which you've heard now, but you've been listening to me for a while. It was a bit broad. It used to be coaches and consultants. And what I need to do now is really build that audience, because I've got some, but I haven't got as many as I'd like. So what I want to do is tap into my network to ask them if they know someone like that. And what I'll do is go in exactly how in the next section. But before I continue, I'd like to talk to you about Hypereyes.io. It's a new partner of ours. Sick of sending and receiving boring text messages? What I mean by whether it's an email, a LinkedIn message are probably the 2 most common. Hypereyes solves this. It allows you to create highly personalized gifts at scale to stand out. I've been using it as a thank you and also giving them an example of the community to build the Cloud Consultants Network, which I mentioned before. So, the great thing is that my reply rates have doubled, right? So that was always the hardest thing. You'd send a message out to someone, you'd never get a response back. This Hypereyes really helps. So go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/Hypereyes. The link will be in the show notes as well. So how to mine it? As mentioned, tech has come a long way in helping you to organize your network. I use Copper CRM. You can use any. but I use Copper CRM and Gmail templates, which are native in Gmail to expedite the process. Two ways of doing it. One is to start from your last contacted person and work back, and the other one is to go through alphabetically. I've tried both. I prefer the second as it's easier to know who you last contacted. I just leave in the task and click up who I last spoke to, and then I go to the next person. And I read through my personal information in prep for the email, so the notes that I've taken, so, their family structure, what value I've given them to before. I've got all of that in there. And then the subject line is pretty simple. I just say, quick question, their first name, not an automated message with a bit of a wink. And then I start with asking them how they are and their family, because, as I said, I've collected that before, and it's amazing how many people compliment me on that and say, you've got such a great memory. No, I've just really got a good system. So what I also do is add value if I haven't in the past, right? So I've got a great example of how to use Hypereyes, and if you'd like to see that, just email me and I can send that through to you, which is the GIFs that I've been speaking to, or GIF, depends how you say it. Then I state, so I've got the subject line, I've given them personal information, I've added value, and then I state who I'm looking for in my network, how I would like to help them, so the benefit they will get, and who can they send their way. So who do they know? And then also I always ask, who are you looking for, right? So I want to reciprocate them doing it. And the way I track it is just having a campaign field in my sales CRM. And as I said, I use ClickUp every day to keep me on my toes and make sure that I'm doing it. And it's just a great daily sales habit. You've heard me on the interview shows always ask about daily habits, and I think, or daily sales habits. I think this is a great one. So some of the examples of success quickly is Tom Moyne, M-O-I-N, from one of my other sponsors called Trigger, T-R-I-G-G-R. I've promoted and added value to them. So when I asked for him to come back with names, he came back with 3 names. And to be honest, I didn't even realize he was a work for HubSpot in the past. So he got me some great HubSpot partners, and now I'm linking into them. So thanks, Tom. The next is Richard White from another sponsor, Fathom Video, Fathom. He connected me to another HubSpot partner, and that he'd had prior experience of them helping him to set up HubSpot in another life, but I would never have known. So Richard, thanks for that. And finally, Tom Poland from leadsology.guru, G-U-R-U, who is an expert in webinars. And we've done a bit of work together. We've been on each other's podcasts. Anyway, long story short, he introduced me to a partner, an ex-Australian guy now living in Denmark. We've got complementary services. He's got a marketplace. I help partners build their business. It's a fantastic relationship, all through this leveraging or mining your network. And the great thing is that it will continue to expand, right? So the other great reason I love to mine my network is because I don't have to worry about marketing agencies, ads, cold email campaigns. It's pretty simple, right? It does take a bit of your time. But the other thing that I've found, which is a bit of a bonus, is lots of follow-up that I've missed. That someone I thought I'd got back to and I hadn't, and we've rekindled the conversation. So that's a great opportunity too. I've only done 91 so far out of 2,000 and whatever it was. So I've got about 2,800 to go. So, and the great thing is I'm always adding it. So 3 key actions for you to do today, and please do these. 1, if you haven't started building your knowledge in your CRM, start today. If you'd like some help on picking one, reach out. 2nd, set a goal for what you need to achieve. So what do you really need at the moment? For me, as I said, I need cloud consultants with less than 20 staff on key platforms like Salesforce, HubSpot, etc. So I'm very specific in what I'm asking for. And then just run a test, right? See if it works. See if your network responds in a positive way like mine has. You can get all the links in the show notes at paulhigginsmentoring.com/podcast, episode 378, or on the app you're listening to right now. I recommend the Pocket Cast app. They're not a sponsor. I just love it. Send me an email at paul@paulhigginsmentoring.com to get the scripts, to get the video to Hypereyes, and the other thing that I mentioned, which I can't remember right now. Please follow me on LinkedIn. It's where I put some of my best content. If you know someone interested in mining their network for a specific benefit, please share it with them. They'll love you. They'll think you're a rock star. And finally, please take action to accelerate your sales.
I'm fired up after today's episode. What about you? But hey, before you go, learning is just one piece of the puzzle. Now it's time to put today's strategy into action. Head over now to today's show page at paulhigginsmentoring.com/podcast and share how you'll put it into action. Be sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe, rate, and review the show. Tell me what your favorite episode is. And don't wait 1 minute more to gain access to your pulse check at paulhigginsmentoring.com. This could be the difference between struggling to get more leads and making this next quarter your best one yet.